Everyone loves a good riddle. We've all been on the receiving end of that feeling of being stumped many times, and the aha moment whenever we get the answer is unmatched. So we've been searching the internet to get together a complete list of our favorite riddles. And to mix things up, we're going to be including a bunch of different kinds of riddles in this video. Simpler, funnier, and shorter riddles if you're not in the mood for anything too tough. Moving on to longer logic puzzles that might leave you stumped for a bit longer. You're watching Top Trending, and today we're counting down our picks for the top riddles only geniuses can solve. Our number 5 slot goes to the following riddle. Your car has broken down on the side of the road, and while replacing your tire, you drop all 4 of the tire's wheel nuts into a sewer in the road, with none of your attempts at retrieving them proving successful. After calling breakdown support and being told you'll have to wait for several hours if you can't bring your car to the nearby garage, you receive some advice from a kid walking by, and can successfully fit the new tire, as well as being able to drive to the garage without being caught in an accident. What advice did you receive in order to be able to drive carefully to the garage? The answer is simple. Though you won't be able to drive with no wheel nuts in one tire, you will be able to drive with 3 wheel nuts in all 4 tires. So you take 1 nut each off the other 3 tires, and therefore can drive carefully to the garage without accidents. For number 4, we decided to put together 2 riddles, which may sound different but actually rely on a similar way of solving them. In the first, you're driving a bus from London to Birmingham. At the first stop, 15 people get on. At the second stop, 3 people get on, and 4 people get off, leaving the bus with a total of 14 people. At the third stop, 5 people get off, and 1 person gets on, leaving the bus with a total of 10 people left on board. Finally, at the fourth stop, 2 people get off, and 5 people get on. When is the driver's birthday? In the second, on the first day of the school year, you, a detective, have been called in to investigate a murder in a high school. The suspects being as follows: the gardener, the math teacher, the gym teacher, and the principal. All of the suspects have claimed alibis. The gardener claims he was cutting plants. The math teacher claims he was adjudicating a midterm test. The gym teacher was playing basketball. And the principal was allegedly in his office. Who was guilty of the murder? We'll give you 15 seconds to decide on your answers to both of them. We've grouped both of these riddles together because they both require a similar method of working out, each relying on hidden information in the statement that is easy to discount. In the first example, the driver's birthday is whatever your own birthday is, as the driver is you. In the second example, the answer is the math teacher, who was apparently in a midterm exam on the first day back at term. Go back and listen to the riddles again. You won't be caught out by one of these again. At number 3, we have Alex Gendler's Bridge Riddle, a variant on the popular crossing riddle formula. You might have seen this one in the form of crossing a stream. The crossing formula has appeared very frequently in all kinds of collections such as this one, and has even been developed to test programming languages for their problem-solving ability. This version of the riddle is as follows. Having escaped from a scientist's lab being pursued by the scientist's own creation, you, the lab assistant, the janitor, and the scientist himself have managed to find yourself on one end of a massive rope bridge connecting 2 cliffs together. You can get across the bridge in just a minute. The lab assistant takes 2 minutes, the janitor takes 5 minutes, and the old scientist takes 10 minutes. With just 17 minutes before you're caught by the scientist's creation, you need to find a way to get everyone across the bridge before the time runs out. And if you've heard a riddle before, you know it's not that easy. The bridge itself is really unstable, not able to support the weight of more than 2 of you at the same time, and it's full of holes. For the second reason, you'll need to carry a lamp back and forth across the bridge to be able to see where you're walking, or potentially fall into the chasm below. Can you figure out a way to make sure everyone survives? We'll give you 15 seconds to figure it out, but feel free to pause if you think you might need more time. Everyone that's tried figuring out a crossing riddle before has realized that most of these are developed in such a way that you're just a bit short on time no matter what way you go to figure it out. But some of you might have arrived at the conclusion. The answer to the problem is to minimize the amount of time wasted by having the two slowest people, the janitor and the old scientist, cross together. And because you need the lantern to see where you're walking, you'll need the fastest people, you and the lab assistant, on hand to provide the lantern. The solution is as follows. You and the lab assistant take the first trip across the bridge, leaving the janitor and the scientist on the other side of the bridge, and taking your total amount of time up to 2 minutes. You then keep running and leave the two of them behind. Just kidding. You leave the lab assistant on the other side of the bridge waiting and run back with the lantern to give it to the scientist and janitor, which brings the total up to 3 minutes. The old scientist and janitor cross together, taking 10 minutes and bringing the total up to 13 minutes. With 4 minutes left to go, the lab assistant has just enough time to bring the lantern over to you, and for the two of you to get over the bridge in the 17 minutes. At number 2, we have the car riddle. You might need a pen and paper for this one. It goes as follows. At night, a car hits a pedestrian in a narrow street and drove away without stopping. The police officer who saw the vehicle leave the collision reported it to be moving at a very high speed. The police managed to gather the following 6 eyewitness accounts of the event. Only one of the following statements is entirely true. The other statements consist of one truth and one lie. Person 1. The car did have a license plate and wasn't going very fast. Person 2. The car did not have a license plate and the driver was a woman. Person 3. The car was moving at high speed with its headlights off. Person 4. The car was gray and was a Ford. Person 5. It was a blue car being driven by a man. Person 6. The car was a Toyota whose headlights were turned off. It's up to you to figure out the actual account of the event, recounting what the brand, color, and speed of the car was, as well as whether it had license plates, whether its headlights were on, and the gender of the driver. We'll put another 15-second timer up, but again, feel free to pause the video if you think you need more time. Here's the answer. What you know for certain was that the car was going a high speed, reported by the police officer. From there, we can work out the answer using a process of elimination. Person 1's incorrect statement must be that the car wasn't going very fast, so we know that the car did indeed have a license plate. If we know that the car did have a license plate, then we know from person 2 that the driver was a woman. If we know that the driver was a woman, we can work out from person 5 that the car was blue. If we know the car was blue, person 4's account tells us that the car was a Ford. So if the car's a Ford, it can't be a Toyota, letting us know that the headlights were turned on. All of that allows us to work out that it's person 3 who gave the correct statement. The car was moving at high speed with its headlights off. And finally, at number 1, we have the Temple Riddle by Dennis E. Shasha. The riddle goes as follows. You, a member of an 8-person expedition, arrive in an ancient temple inside the Lost City. You walk inside and it's not too long before 2 of your number end up bumping into an altar, hidden by the darkness inside the temple. Green smoke erupts from the altar, and running for your lives, you arrive at a room that you passed on the way in, with 5 hallways leading off from the main chamber, including the one back inside to the altar, and the one leading outside to the exit, each tunnel taking 20 minutes to travel down. You have an hour before the temple collapses, trapping you inside, and you have no idea which way is out. And to make matters worse, the green smoke from earlier was a curse placed upon the altar by the spirits of the Lost City's king and queen. Now 2 of your party of 8 have been cursed, and they may lie, but also may tell the truth. You know that the curse didn't get you, but aren't sure which students are fine to be trusted, and there's no way to guarantee which students have been cursed or follow your not-erased footsteps out to the exit. With that set up, can you figure out a way that all of you can escape? One last time, 15 seconds on the clock. Did you get the answer? The first thing most people think of while first considering the answer to this problem is that you can take an exit path alone and split the group into 4s going down the other 2 sides. The problem here is obvious. If one of the groups of 4 come back with 2 people disagreeing with the other 2, you'd be unsure of who to trust and only have time left for one more trip. In reality, the answer is to split the group into 1 pair and 2 groups of 3. This way will leave just 3 possibilities. The group will come back unanimous in agreement, in which case you have reliable evidence about the trios because there will be no conflict, so you can ignore the duo and figure out which way to go through process of elimination. If only one group is arguing, then the other 2 must be telling the truth. And if 2 groups are arguing, then the possessed members must be in different groups, so you can trust the majority. And that's our list of the favorite riddles we found. Did you agree with our list? Disagree? Find any particularly easy? Or have suggestions for things we missed over the course of the video? Let us know in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, share with friends, and subscribe to Top Trending for more regular countdown videos such as this one.